Warning, the video you're about to see for YouTube is disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, I welcome you to the layer 5 of the Iceberg, where we explore the depths of weird and surreal games. Get ready to explore mind-bending puzzle games. There is even a special PlayStation 1 game from a special effects artist who worked on the movie Predator. Plus we will talk about the long-lost game behind the creator of LSD Dream Emulator. Alright, there is also a game with adult content. This Iceberg has it all. You know the drill. Make yourself comfortable, grab a coffee or a cold beer, and let's dive into the world of surreal video games. And remember, if you find this video interesting, don't forget to like and of course to hit that subscribe button. If you want to help the channel a bit more and enjoy perks like getting the video early or having your name in the credits, you can also check my membership program. But one more small thing before we start. Thank you for tuning in and I hope you will enjoy this video.
Cosmology of Kyoto.
The first entry of Layer 5 starts with a retro game that is an adventure game developed by Soft Edge. It's a Japanese game from 1993. The game didn't get any good critics, but it gained some loyal fans over the years. It's a game that lacks a clear goal and emphasizes open exploration, giving players the freedom to explore. The game deals with historical, horror, religious and educational themes, and featured things like karma and reincarnation in the gameplay mechanics. The game is set in the medieval city of Kyoto. I mean, it's in the title. The year is 1000, during the Heian period of Japanese history, but there is much more to say here. You will see many weird things, and often you will be thinking, what the heck did you just saw? From monks flying on skeletons, people transforming into demons, and seeing overall many weird Japanese-inspired monsters.
Geyser the Meteorite Motel.
Do you want surreal games? Say hello then to Geyser Gus. It's an indie RPG game where you play as an old man that is looking for an alien meteorite to absorb its power. By the way, the creator's name is also Geyser Gus. In the motel are also evil occupants who are interested into harvesting its power. Now your goal in this RPG game is to make your way through the unpredictable and dangerous motel into reaching the meteorite first. It's a chaotic and colorful game with 10 bizarre acid trip-like cutscenes to experience. Plus I need to add that the game has 30 unique soundtracks to blend in with the crazy art style. The game was removed from Steam for some reason and it's only available on itch.io, just to let you know.
Serious Sam ROM.
Once again, the Iceberg chart led me to one of my favorite YouTubers out there, and that's Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers. This is about a 7-year-old video in which Muda plays a Russian Serious Sam ROM hack. And I also need to give a big shout out to Crow Team, a game developer studio from my home country. So everyone not familiar with Serious Sam, is a fast-paced FPS where you need to fight hordes of enemies coming you all at once. And the game has definitely a cult-like following. Now to this ROM hack. Well, the game is pretty simple, let's say. It mostly consists of running around in long hallways, and in the middle of the game it gets a bit interesting, in which you visit some rooms that look actually like normal Serious Sam levels. But you will occasionally find that the game plays tricks on you and tries to jump scare you. And the game also has a bloody ending, which I'm not going to spoil, but overall the ROM hack is meh. So let's continue to the next entry.
Pucker in the Woods.
Jay-Z Store made this little, I guess we could call it a game. Also the game name is actually spelled with a F. So you're not a pucker in the woods, but rather a fuck over here. It's a point and click adventure novel-like game with very bad Photoshop characters. This game is about wacky misadventures as our characters try to make it through the last day of high school. What weird is that the characters are looking like they're almost 40 for whatever reason. It's about how a group of friends on the last day of the school lost their friend, and the big question is the Packer in the woods? Please be warned, if you play this game, you could lose a few brain cells along the way.
A League of Peace.
This game has a warning because if children play, as they will go to school, they will get superpowers and probably kill the teacher. Yeah, that's a good start. To describe this game, it's a point-and-click adventure slash visual novel type of a thing. But there are also a few other things thrown into that mix. John Fogel, Annie and the Purple Hat Man have escaped the scrutiny of the police so far, but when the police mysteriously disappear, they are forced into action. But things get soon complicated, and a 3-day road trip starts. Isn't this exciting? The game is wacky, plus I need to give credit to the creator because the music is creative.
Crime Zone.
The next one on the list is again by a creator we already mentioned a few times, and that's the Katamatis. The game is based on a loop, let's say, where every time you move, you would play as a different character. It's a first-person adventure game about cops and criminals and the zone that they live in. The game has a bit crude appearance. There are no narrative twists as such. The switching of the perspective from one character to another makes a labyrinth of the story. It's definitely weird.
Packer in the Warlock.
What did you say? Another Packer is lost and now he's a gulag? Yes, you heard me right. Another Packer needs our help. This is gonna be short. I'm only going to repeat what the creator of the Iceberg said there about this game. It's a visual novel, it's dumb, it's crude, and most importantly, it's annoying.
Nobitas Biohazard.
Finally, a real game. Now you see, Nobitas Biohazard is an indie survival horror game created with the RPG Maker 2000 by the author named AAA or AAA in 2007. It's a parody slash crossover of the first Resident Evil game. The game reenacts Raccoon City Mansion incident in the context of the famous Japanese slice of life manga slash anime Doraemon. I really like the game for some reason. It's very well made and it has over the top violence. The game was for quite some time only available in Japan, but in 2014 a translator called Naoi Kiriyama provided a translation of this game. Plus the game spawned many fan-made sequels, mods and so on. The game is worth checking out if you're into resi games and want to mix things up.
Merry Cake Flowered Christmas.
This is a point-and-click browser game. I can tell you two things about this game. First, it's a French game, but the game can also be played in English. And the second and the most important thing is that I don't know what the hell is going on. I was trying to click on various things, ending up in getting some texts or video songs, and I was confused the whole time because I didn't know what the heck was just going on.
Entumbra.
Now, Wildhead made something a bit more interesting, and definitely much better than the previous entry in my opinion. Now, Entumbra is a creepy, scary horror game and it's incredibly hard. The game is something a bit special, as the creator stated he made this game from all his nightmares, fears, anger, sorrow and misery. But let's be realistic, how many game developers stated the same thing? But okay. From the gameplay, you are seeing that the game is something like that old dungeon crawlers text-based games. But the game is quite dark and also surreal, and it has a scene where Jesus was eaten by Pac-Man.
Screamy Bingus.
This is a game made by Sickless. It's a flash game and inspired by hit 3DS classics. It's such a weird game and it made me laugh. You basically see real life photos and you need to shoot various things which the game points to you. It has also funky music in the background. I don't know what to say, it's quite weird, it's a simple game. Maybe you will have few minutes of fun with it.
Illegal crime game.
Angry Geometry is a game developer we already mentioned. This time we are talking about his game Illegal Crime Game. It's a very crude and basic looking game The game was made in RPG Maker, and I mean, of course it is. The goal of the game is to explore the city and commit crimes. So it's simple, collect money and commit crimes. Despite the MS-DOS looking graphic, the game was pretty well received and many praised it to be funny and cheesy at times. Ghost of Aliens. This is a pretty old RPG game, like from 2008. I mean, it's not that old, or is it? Follow the adventures of Atom and an old man named Gwalden. On October 1st, 1963, an alien spaceship crashes on the planet of Appalachia in the desert near the town of Roseville. For 5 years, the alien was living inside of the ship and eventually died and becomes a ghost. Gwalden, the old man, tells a prophecy that a hero would crash from the sky down to the world of Appalachia and defeat the 5 doomed beasts that are scattered around the world. It has definitely an interesting story and a pretty neat art style, but from what I can tell, it's a pretty unknown game, but hey, maybe some of you guys will give it a go. Dream. I hope I pronounced the name of this game right. So, the game was made by creator Leon, and the Iceberg chart said it's a very bad FPS game. At first glance, it looked very surreal and many things looked out of place. After playing it, I realized it's even worse than initially thought, and it didn't help the fact that everybody screamed at me to die over and over again. Skip this to not lose valuable brain cells. Prosperity Path. This is quite interesting. Well, it's a collection of video games or levels designed to coach you through a mindful training process that will cleanse your karma and attend to a multitude of life problems. Sounds interesting. Well, I don't know, it's weird as hell, let me tell you. It feels like those early life simulation games or online chats like Second Life or Worlds.com. The game also states, imagine what it would be if you would be free from relationship issues, family problems and concerns. It's time to get a handle of all of that. Have the freedom to do what you need to do. Be who you need to be. Well, if this game really lets you succeed at that, it's a hard question. And if you somehow succeed, let me know. Bugger World. Imagine that clowns have invaded your home. This is the story of Bugger World. You need to cross many worlds to defeat enemy clowns. Pay and bring peace to your domain. You play like a little dog which looks a bit spaced out, but hey, that's enough for me. Also, the music in the game is a trip. Other than that, it's a standard RPG game and it's made by Sebastian. My hole is a mouth of dirt. A lonely, cloaked being called Mole services instructions from what he believes to be the voice of God. As he wanders a desolate, outworldly underground, his fate is tested and he must deliver a baby. The game focuses on bringing your mind to a dark place for about 50 to 80 minutes, presenting interesting and strange scenarios to immerse yourself in a world where you explore a twisted underground. The game is quite interesting with dealing themes like trust, fate, love, hate and fatherhood. And the atmosphere is also quite good. But the game tackles also religious themes, so if you're sensitive to this, maybe consider skipping this game. Gobo Goes. The next game was made by Roman. The game is a surreal isometric game like Bastion. For example, by the way, I have a review about this game somewhere on my channel, you can check it out if you have some time. Back to Gobo Goes. It's an adventure-like game, but much more surreal than Bastion for sure. It's sort of a point-and-click game also. This game is thought to be the spiritual sequel to Funny Pizza Land. Haha, if you still remember that game. Overall, I don't know. If you love puzzles, sure, but the goddamn soundtrack is killing me. First of all, there isn't any, and the whole soundtrack contains only wind noises combined with some clicking noises, and it's very annoying and irritating. League of Scumbags. It's a browser game found on GameJolt. It's a very crude game. I won't sugarcoat it. The game hasn't good graphics, it has a repetitive jingle, and it's about you going to the church with your friends. but then you were pushed by some random guy, then you land in a trippy world where you meet a huge bee that tells you need to receive his sword. Then you wake up and your adventure starts. I was not positively surprised by the game, but maybe you feel otherwise.
Shooting.
It's a Japanese point-and-click game by the director Osamu Sato, the sequel to Eastern Mind: The Lost Souls of Tang No. If you paid attention, you'll know that he is the creator behind LSD Dream emulator from the PlayStation 1, which we mentioned in the first layer. The game was released in 1995, but it was considered lost media until 2013. Even Osamu Sato didn't have the game, and it was basically rediscovered by a random dude who thought he had the game in his attic. And then, after searching it, he actually found it, and the game got a fan translation. The story is about you first encountering Nanshu. Nanshu explains he was set to guard Chu Teng, but a dark entity named Chao In broke him into pieces. Like the previous game we mentioned on the chart, the game is very surreal, and that's a thing that Osamu Sato is known for.
Strawberry cubes.
The next game was made by Lauren Schmidt. The game has maybe a cute name, but what is the game about is a better question, I think. Well, the game tries to represent your nightmares. The game is mostly a 2D side-scroller with SNES-like graphics. The color and the art style are mostly based on red and black color palettes. And yeah, you will run around trying to make sense of what is happening. But I guess that's how nightmares work. As we already talking about nightmares, sadly the game is very unstable and it has many problems with crashes and glitches.
Soup 0.9.
The next one on this list is a Dreamwalker game. Well, the game starts with day 1 and you're thrown into a weird looking level, and from that point you are just exploring until the game decides you to throw into another world or another level, let's say. Every level is different and unique, and they do get a bit unsettling as you move on. And also, every level has unique music in it.
Eggtastica.
It's a survival horror game for MS-DOS. Again, one more retro game. This game is played from a third-person perspective. The setting is in Northern Europe in 928 AD. You're a traveler who came upon a town named Tirich, hoping to find food and shelter. However, the town appears to be invaded by demons. The traveler must help the townspeople and lift the curse from the town by freeing the young sorceress Eggtastica from her possession. It's an early 3D game, so it's somehow limited. You will need to sneak or run away from different enemies. Later you can also fight back. Overall, it's an interesting game, but it aged quite a bit.
The world has been sad since Tuesday.
Do you know why the world has been sad since Tuesday? Good question. This entry was made by Fred Brednarski. The game was inspired by the short story called A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings by Gabriel Marquez. This is a quiet and short game. There is a plot going on, but I won't spoil it. The game is pretty simplistic and it's worth a try if you're into short, story-driven games.
Paranoia Escape.
Finally, we see one more PlayStation 1 title on the list. Released exclusively in Japan on the PlayStation 1 in 1998. It's the only game developed and published by Matilda. The game is definitely weird and it really baffles me what the heck is going on. But I need to mention it one more time, that's the whole plot of this video. There is an interesting backstory here if you want to dive a bit deeper, because the man behind this was a special effect and makeup professional artist who actually was behind the first Predator movie. His name was known in the USA as Screaming Mad George. And he's also known for his bizarre handmade things. And one of the things he did was this little project. The more bizarre thing is that this is a first-person flipper game. It's totally wacky and over the top.
Ultra Business Tycoon 3.
so I didn't expect to see a text-based game when I saw the name of this game. Well, but it is what it is. This game is what a corporate executive life looks with a gram of happy powder. Ultra Business Tycoon 3 claims to be the part of the 90s business simulation game, and it does a good job replicating text games. This isn't a game for everyone indefinitely. Some will be entertained, but I can see some people would just lose their focus playing through this game because it's just made of text. Parade game. The next game is a RPG game from the Game Jolt page, but it's a quite old version, and the creator stated there is a remastered version on the way, but this was 1 year ago, and it's in Spanish. You're playing as a guy with a pyramid head with an eye. That's not in the slightest weird. Other than that, it's a quite normal RPG Maker game for what I can tell. The only thing I can add that I didn't find any download link to the game, not even on GameJolt from the older version of the game. Inkrepair.com. So this site contains basically a collection of games. The games have mostly a pixelated art style. Now, why is this site on the list? Well, that's quite simple. The list of the games you find on this site range from simple games to simple adult-like games with dark humor, hate symbols and so on. And yeah, this is still an active site with free games, plus there are a bunch of these games on this site if you want to check them out, I mean. Surrealidade. This is a Portuguese puzzle game. It's a surreal cult adventure. You will talk to bizarre creatures, solve puzzles, and learn a lot about surrealism. The game was released in 1999. In his 20s, the artist led Andre Breton got together a crew to create a new form of art. It's a point and click game where you need to solve puzzles in exotic environments. From what I can tell and the reviews I read, the game is very interesting and it has a lot of love put in it, and the game has also English translations if you want to play it. Makamaka. So Makamaka is a 1992 RPG game for the Super Famicom made by Office Kukan. So let me a bit explain the story and what the hell is going on. It takes place on Earth, where Ultraman-style aliens, an alien princess and an evil faceless Ant-Man are completely normal, and the main character is reincarnated form of an alien prince who defeated an evil demon 1 millennia ago. Now completely resurrected and gained full of his power, the Demon King wants revenge and organizing the Makamaka society to conquer Earth. It's a standard JRPG game full of quirky Japanese humor that makes you wonder if the designers were of something while making this game. You don't know the half of it. Fins of the Father. Welcome to the big race, Samantha. This is the one you've been working for. It is the race that ended your father 7 years ago. Now you can finally make peace. Are you ready? This is the description of this entry. It's a top-down car race with licensed music somehow. And I love how the fishes are on everything. Well, after the top-down race, you will be a fish driving a fish motorcycle and shoot flying squids from the sky. I let you to decide if this is real. Weird and unfortunate things are happening. This game was made by Sapphire Dream Games. The game is about Joy and Alicia as she tries to save her niece from a city warped and twisted by otherworldly beings. In this eccentric horror RPG, the game clearly derives inspiration from games like Earthbound, but also Humaniki. It offers a cute art style combined with sinister elements to set a good atmosphere for the player. All of this is wonderfully combined with a lovely soundtrack that sets the mood just right. Also, I need to warn that this game is a work in progress and currently it's around 60% complete, which is around 8 to 10 hours of playtime. And this was the last entry for this video. I hope you did enjoy this video. It's a bit shorter because some of the entries have so little data on them and it's hard to find any details about them. And one more thing is that I'm going on vacation, so the next 2 weeks there won't be any new videos, sadly. First of all, I just need some vacation because I feel like I'm gonna burn out. Every week to make a video is just pretty hard. I won't completely stop working, but I will probably just write scripts for the next videos we have ahead. And yeah, again, if you have some entries you want to see, comment down below. And if you have any new video suggestions of new Iceberg videos or some other themes, let me know. I am curious to hear about them. And that's it. Again, if you like this video, I hope you give it a like. Subscribe if you didn't already. Consider joining my membership program to help the channel. And that's it for me. I hope you have a great day and I see you in a few weeks. Bye guys. I love you so much.